What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. I'm not doing my intro. It's not that kind of night. It's actually one of those nights where you have a lot of introspective, right? Like, I've seen a lot on YouTube involving Shanquella's funeral. And you guys know what I've been going through personally. You with my friends and everything. And it just feels wrong on all levels that we are here and this girl went through such a traumatic experience at the hands of her friends. It's one of those things where I talk about it all the time. Like, we're in a world of social media where everything is out there for everybody to see. And you have the world star hip hops of the world who, the minute something pops off, they're taking their phones out. The fact that this Shanquilla was 25 years old. And 25, you haven't even really started your life, but she was 25 and actually was a entrepreneur and business person already. The whole situation is so heavy. It's so sad. So as always, I come up, and when things like this happen, to be honest, so much is going on in my personal life that I couldn't even tackle this subject because it feels personal. I didn't know Shanquilla. It feels heavy. It feels personal. It feels senseless. There's so many things that can be said about why this should not have happened. And then I sit back and I watch her father say, you know, I'm not going to have grandchildren now. I have I see that her mom, her dad, not only are they going to have to go through this, but now they're going into the holiday season with this. And if it's heavy on my heart and it's heavy on y'all's heart and it's heavy on all of our minds, I can't even imagine what they're going through. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand the world star hip hop community. The community that the minute something goes on, they're more concerned about going viral than anything else. Hey y'all, I see you guys are coming into the room. It's crazy that this type of situation happens a lot. Everybody's not a fighter. And I don't think that everybody has to be a fighter. Anytime somebody waves the white flag, lets you know that they're not going to hit you back, that should be the end of it. It should not be a situation where a mom is getting a call that we have left your daughter's body in Mexico. It's sad. Hey Lily, hey Wu Chow. I'm gonna I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link with the caveat that let's talk about how we're feeling in a situation like this, as opposed to I don't want to talk about that woman potentially being trans. You know what I mean? I'm not there with it. I'm not there with it. But I'm gonna drop the link. Anybody, is welcome to come up. When I watched the mom do an interview. I watched Shanquilla's mom do an interview. And over in the interview, she says she just wants to understand what happened to her child. I don't personally understand how these people are still free to move about the country. I know the FBI has now gotten involved, but I don't know. I mean, to me, these people are the M word, I think they should be under somebody's prison already or being held until all the stuff comes out. I also saw that a lot of people attended her her funeral today. And I'm just going to be honest. I don't know why, if you do not know this girl, you are at her funeral filming. And I mean, that's YouTubers, people on Instagram, people on Twitter. Literally, her last moments were somebody filming her as she was beat up. To then take that to her funeral, you don't like you don't know this woman. I might be alone in this, I don't know, but once I saw that there are a whole array of videos at Shanquella's funeral, it really put a bad taste in my mouth. It upset my stomach. It just, and then I heard somebody say, well, I can't show you everything because cameras and videos weren't allowed in the actual place where, the sermon was given and her body was there. If the family has said no cameras were allowed there, why would you be filming outside? Why would you be filming in the area where people are received and you get the what is it called? Where they explain to you what's going to happen at what time. I can't think of the name right now, but where the ushers give you, I'm drawing a blank, but you guys know what I'm talking about. If the family said they do not want cameras, why are you all who are there to show you respects to somebody whose life was taken too soon videotaping that? Who is that for? Oh, so okay, it's gross. Mexico is dangerous for black people, apparently. I think, as somebody who has been robbed multiple times, I think everywhere is dangerous. So I won't say it's Mexico specifically, but I know the first time I went to Mexico, I went to Cancun, and one of my friends got robbed. They dropped him off. They took his belt, his pants, his shoes, his wallet, his jewelry, and dropped him back off at the hotel. Now, this was years ago. I think I went to Cancun with friends, maybe like 16, 17 years old. And nowadays, there's like bodies washing up on shore. So I think it's important to be aware of your surroundings and be aware of the people who you keep around you. This is a cautionary tale that everybody is not your friend. Everybody does not want the best for you. A lot of times people want you to do well. They just don't want you to do better than them. And you have to watch out for those type of people, because those are the type of people that will come and cause chaos and havoc in your life. Now, this was the extreme. These were people who really had nothing going for themselves. And this girl was a bright, shining star, and they decided to take her out. I can just imagine what the trials are going to be like. I can just imagine it now, what the trials are going to be like, because they're already turning on each other. And at the end of the day, it's unnecessary. It makes absolutely no sense to be able to go out of the country with people who are supposed to value you as a friend. You know what my friends would do? If I'm fighting, we fighting. If something pops off, there's no way that your friend would leave the country without you. If we both miss, we're all missing the flight. That's just simple. And I've watched the majority of the videos that are coming out, and it just feels like if it could happen to her, it could happen to your child. If it could happen to her, it could happen to your niece or nephew. Do you know what I mean? Like, it feels like there is no longer a sense of decency, because the minutes you fall in the street, somebody's recording it. You get into a fight, somebody's recording it. It just it really is disheartening to know that that is where we are as a people. We're in a space where I'm only concerned about me. I know this is sounding crazy coming from a YouTuber, but they did a survey, and it used to be the average kid wanted to be a firefighter. The average kid wanted to be a doctor, a lawyer, an astronaut. The average kid today wants to be a social media influencer. It's this get rich quick. Um, I'm not going to put in any work. I want the lifestyle. I want the money. I can guarantee when they were recording, they didn't realize that this was going to be a record of actually killing somebody. They were waiting to upload that video so that they could go viral on Instagram, go viral on Twitter, because that is the moment that people will kill for at this point. That's just what it is. No one is your true friend anymore. I wouldn't say that. I have a friend now who is going through a friend basically losing their battle with cancer in front of them. And that mofo is at that friend's house every day in communication with the family, making sure that everything that they could do to assist at this time is what they're doing. You guys wanted an update? Me and my mom will be going to go visit my friend who had the stroke this Monday. I'm super excited. I got off the phone with her mom today. She can talk somewhat. I can even take her from the facility with the wheelchair out to dinner with me and my mom, and then bring her back. We have like 3 hours that we could do. So I'm super excited. But true friendships do exist, sassy girl. It is just, you really have to vet people nowadays, especially this. She had everything going for her. She had everything going for her. A young 25-year-old entrepreneur who can go out of the country. And I mean, the place that they were staying at was very nice. It was in a private gated community. These, youngsters are doing it. Not everybody wants to be just a social media influencer. Some of these youngsters are entrepreneurs. They are true friends, but it's a process. That's true. Oh yeah, the dude who was like, she's not even. Yeah, I do think sometimes there should be a good Samaritan clause where if you see something and you don't intercede, or I think that you're just as guilty as the rest. Sending love and prayers to your friend. Thank you. I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. I think I should be having her baby really, not I should be having her baby. I'll be babysitting her baby while her mom goes to church. So we'll see how that goes out. Maybe next weekend I'll have her. Oh Lord, she cries so much. She cries so much all the time. I was like, what is that doing for you, ma'am? She didn't care. She cried through that. Yes, true friendships still exist. These people are not her true friends. The more that comes out, the more I really do think it's jealousy. People want you to do well, they just don't want you to do better than them. I can read energy and it's a gift and a curse. Yeah, if you feel something is not right, move on quickly. When people show you who they are, believe them. And I'm not even gonna I'm not even gonna do the voice that I normally do with that quote. When your friends don't have what you have, they hate. Mims. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Forget group travel, travel alone, no stress. Now, Miko, I wouldn't necessarily say that because there is strength in numbers. My friend that got robbed in Cancun, he was by himself. Like we'd all decided to come back. He refused to leave the club. Um, I wasn't with him that night though. But the point was, he refused to leave the club. He felt like because he spoke Spanish, he would be okay. So I think he'd gone out to another club. Crazy frog or something like that. Anyway, the point was he thought that he could go out by himself because he was a man and he spoke the language. And as soon as he got in that cab, it was the cab driver that robbed him. So I do think there's strength in numbers. I just think you have to vet the people that you have around you. If you have somebody around you that does not share in the same morals that you live by, if they might steal from somebody else, then they probably will steal from you. That's just it. I don't know. What's up, Nina? Cap- I think you changed your name. Y'all, this is Nina. She's famous. Long time no see. Why would they steal 10K from her? I didn't know that they stole Senior Frogs. Yeah. Oh, Rob has been to Cancun. Senior Frogs. Yep. They had gone there. The rest of us went to go. Well, they went to get tattoos. I went with them. But that night, he definitely got robbed. Thank God he was just robbed and he's still surprisingly the cab driver still brought him to his hotel. He just brought him to the hotel with no clothes on, no wallet, no nothing. And that it is not easy to get back to the States when you don't even have an ID. So he learned the hard way. When I was younger, I had a ton of frenemies. It doesn't matter what you look like, how much money you have. At the end of the day, something that you have is something that the next person doesn't, and they are not going to like it. Period. You could have three strands of hair and one tooth, and somebody's gonna be jealous of that third strand of hair that you have. You got to know people' true identity. You really do have to vet. You really have to vet people. Everybody does not have your best interest at heart. I had a cab driver rob me from Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. I'm sorry you went through that. Like, I'm really sorry you went through that. Like I said, I've been robbed multiple times. It feels like the first time each time is horrible. Group travel is definitely safer. However, I've traveled alone too. But what has happened as a result of all my robberies, I'm very aware of all my surroundings to the point where I like pick out and pinpoint things that other people do not see all the time. I'm like, you didn't see that? You didn't see that car slightly move in that direction? You didn't see that person steal that orange? I'm always seeing, like, it's super imperative to be aware of your surroundings all the time. When you outgrow your friend circle, move on. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes your friends that were there from childhood just don't share in the same morals that you share as an adult. Let's see. Frenemies are a joke. I have that exact wine glass. Yeah, you, me, and that new girl from Jamaica on Housewives of RHOA. She still had her price tags on it. We do have the same wine glass. What's up, Chi Town? Hey, Queen of Harlem. People are can be jealous of who you are, not necessarily what you have. I think they can be jealous of all of it. I think at people's core, we are good. But I think once you have outside interference, like they say, children are never racist. It's what people imprint in them that makes them racist. They don't see the color that we all see at a young age. What's up, Gimme Shelter? Rest in peace. We really do need to say her name for a multitude of reasons. What she went through is what's wrong in America. We are more concerned about going viral than we are about the human experience. And I'm not just saying that. I know it's weird to see somebody on YouTube talking like that, but in all honesty, y'all, I didn't even have an Instagram until YouTube. I'm the kind of friend who I will throw an event and you got to leave your phone in a door, in a basket. I'll provide everything, the liquor, probably some cake, some dessert. I'm not really one to provide food. But the point is, I feel like people need to live in the moment. And this whole, I'm going to record this girl as she's getting beat up. I'm going to tell her to fight back as opposed to stopping your two friends, breaking it up. I think everybody who knew that she was literally being killed, and I'm saying that word, I don't care if I lose my monetization for this video. Anybody who knew that she was getting beat to the point where they could literally break her spine, I feel like they all need to go to jail. This is so disgusting. Somebody please let me know where is her cell phone. Oh, the cell phone is missing? As I got older, I gradually became a loner into myself, having so many fake friends around me when I was younger. I do think that real friendships exist. I really do. I think humans in general are gregarious. We need to be around other humans, whether it's a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a partner. We need that. Honestly, I would hate to think that this is some regression in interpersonal relationships. That's not what this needs to be. It just needs to be a situation where you vet people. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of times, like, let's say you have a friend that steals. If your friend is going to steal from Walmart, do you think that if they get in a bind, they're not going to steal from you? And if you are not a thief, then that needs to be something that you look at. I One thing that really, really bothers me is when people say you have to be around people who are at your socioeconomic level. I do not agree with that at all. Like, not at all. I have friends from every socioeconomic class, and I don't value one above the other. I don't think that it is a requirement for friendship with somebody to make sure that they make the same amount of money as you or they're only on the come up. Who you are is not defined by what you have. Hard stop. Money does not equate to morals or values. And I do not like when people say that. Not I have the whole set. My mom actually bought me these, to be honest with you. My mom bought me these because she knows I like a good cocktail. I'm always the hyper aware of the one in the group. My friend is always walking up to strangers, joking around. I'm like, he's dangerous. There has to be one in the group that is aware of the surroundings at all the times. Oh, thanks, Shot-Town. She's working. Yeah, my Instagram guys, I can say a lot on Instagram that I can't. We have a good old time on Instagram. It's usually a joke a day. So check it out. Make it make sense now. Thank you, Shot-Town. Comparison is the thief of joy, and sometimes to extreme levels. That's that's really deep. Was that like one of your quotes, or who did you get that from? But I like that. Comparison is the thief of joy, and sometimes to extreme levels. That's a good one. That's really deep. Thank you, Ruchal. Say her name. You're a good friend, Mims. Oh, and me and Kade, we do be fighting. We argue all the time. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop the link. Anybody's welcome to come up, share their thoughts. It's an open forum. This is just one of those videos where we just kind of talk, because I know that a lot of you guys have feelings about this situation. A lot of you guys have children. A lot of you guys have experienced a loss of somebody that made absolutely no sense. And this was definitely one of those situations. Like I said a little bit earlier, the fact that I was listening to an interview with her father say, now I won't even have grandchildren. Like it's already reverberating in their life. And for anybody who has lost somebody, anybody who has had to plan a funeral, while you're in that 1 or 2 weeks of planning the funeral, telling everybody, announcing it, you know, working through everything that you need to work through to make that happen, you're in adrenaline mode. It's not until after the funeral that this really hits you, that you have really truthfully lost somebody. Hey, Cotty,
Hey.
how are, how are you feeling with this scenario? I'm sure you have some thoughts.
Yeah, I just I don't really understand. I mean, I get the jealousy and I just don't understand why do you want to be friends with someone if you don't like them? I don't understand why you would be around someone every day if secretly you can't stand them. I don't understand the psyche behind that at all. And I fully do believe that they planned this. They planned it. They probably did not plan to um
Eliminate her.
right.
Hmm.
But I think they planned it. Otherwise, if there was a true genuine friend in that whole group, why did no one stop this? I would have never been able to stand there and watch two of my friends just fighting and I'm just standing right there and doing nothing. I'm videotaping it. I'm laughing. That no, I could never do that.
I can't put this on the screen, Linda, but Linda says that she was assaulted and they stole $10,000 from her. Now I heard about the 10K, but I did not hear about her being,
Oh, I didn't know about the 10K. I heard that they used her credit card to fly home.
yeah. Hey Natasha. Gimme
Hi.
Shelter says, was she the only child? That's what I heard the father say. He was giving an interview and he said now he's not going to be able to have grandchildren.
That's so
That's
sad.
That's
horrible.
sad.
And like I was saying, they're coming up on the holiday season, so they have all this happening and the media circus around them, but it's always after the funeral that the family needs support from people that they actually know. You know what I mean?
Like this, kind of like what Cotty was saying, how like she doesn't understand. There really are people like this because I remember like growing up, I had a lot of frenemies, and I remember this one
Hold
girl
on
that
one
was like,
second. Linda, I see you trying to come in, but it says devices not connected. I see you in the background, but it shows device not connected. You might have to log out and log back in. I'll drop the link again. Please continue, Natasha.
and I look back and I'm like why would she like? I remember there's this one situation where this girl, this older girl that we weren't really like, she was in my, I remember she was in my math class, and she the only thing I could figure out, like, because we had absolutely no problems, I wasn't aware of any problem at all. And apparently we were at this party in high school and she was like telling people that she like wanted to randomly hit me. And my friend was aware of it and didn't like try to stop her or anything. She ended up like hitting me in the face. And I was a drunk. I didn't even feel anything. And I just looked at her like, what are you doing? Like, because I was just confused. And I look back and like my friend knew all along and didn't stop it. And I use friend loosely. And I'm just like, and then I just think back of like other situations. I'm like, that girl, my so-called friend knew that I considered her a friend. So why would she continue? Like, you know what I mean? People are just like, I don't know. And I really like, and I know like people can be, I think in this case, I think they were jealous of like multiple things, but also people can just be jealous of like, you could have less than them and they could still be jealous of you. Cause it's like sometimes what's inside of you too, you know?
Yeah, if you have a jealous spirit and a jealous heart, it's gonna manifest. Kadi, I'm getting a lot of bots. If you
It's
could
been
block them,
blocked.
I tried and it says air it out. Linda, I still see you in the background. You might have to
Okay, let
drop
me see.
off and try again because it says devices not connected. So I see you, but I just can't add you to the stream because it says they will need to connect their mic or cam before you can add them to the stream. Just
I
F.
also couldn't watch the video because I don't like watching violence because I'm an empath. But I heard like the audio and hearing that guy's voice go, she's not even fighting back. At least fight back. Like that was so disturbing to me. I'm like, you're just as evil. Like you're literally watching someone get murdered. I'm sorry if you were pounding someone and they are just laying there not fighting back, then you're a murderer.
I also think
Sorry,
I think
and
that they
murder.
should have like the Good Samaritan clause, where if you see something and you choose not to say something, or even I mean, you know how easy it'd have been for him to just put his phone down and say she's not fighting and leave it alone.
Like shove her off her, be like, hey, she's not even fighting back. Like chill. Like even if he didn't like her, like is it worth like it's crazy.
But you
And I
you guys
really think they
like
all
you
used
know
her
this
for that
happens all the
shit.
time, right? We watch videos. Well, I have personally chosen not to watch fight videos anymore, but this happens all the time. The only difference is the victim did not survive. But these fight videos where you have grown men watching women fight, grown women watching men fight, like that. Let me tell you how country I am. So
But
you
all it
guys
takes is
knew
one person to fall and hit their head when you hit them. Like you run the risk of manslaughter.
you guys know that I grew up in Louisiana, and my mom was that mom who, if she saw two girls, two boys fighting, she came outside with a broom and she hit both of them with the broom to break up the fight, and then she would call the parents. Like that's what happened in the country. It's not like people don't fight. We don't live in a society where fights don't
My
happen.
friend's mom did that to like our two guy friends.
Yeah, I mean, and nobody came to beat up my mom because they knew that she had these kids' best interest at heart and didn't want them fighting. That's just what happens
That
in
should
the
be a normal
country.
reaction.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays they probably like shoot my mom or something for hidden or breaking up a fight with a broom. The candy shop says it appears they were just using this girl. I have not heard what her true relationships were with everyone else but Khalil.
I get the impression that they were using her for that, but I also almost feel like this was pre-planned and they almost felt like Mexico would be a good spot, thinking that maybe they could potentially get away with it. I don't think they necessarily planned on like um
Unalive.
unaliving her at the time, but I definitely think that they were like, we're gonna f her up and then we're gonna post it and we're gonna humiliate her because that's what she gets. Who does she think she is? Like I can picture that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It just
I've
Wasn't
traveled
she like
so much
in
with
her room,
friends.
like passing away while and they proceeded to like continue to have drinks and party?
Thank you for the super chat, Candy. I
it's
appreciate
very
that.
evil.
Linda says, I really believe she was set up for extortion and they didn't think it would go this far. I definitely don't think they intended to unalive her, but the end result is still the end result. Intentions don't make up for the reality of the situation.
But it's just like when someone is not like you have like what level of like rage are you at when you're slamming a lifeless body on the ground and not think you're not gonna like take that person's life? You know what I mean?
I literally do
It's
think that
crazy.
people are just concerned. Like, so there is something very heightened about having a camera there, right? So you probably are going to fight a little bit harder. You're probably going to read people a little bit stronger. You're going to go at the situation stronger because you know you're being filmed. The thing is, there is a such thing as I'm not going to fight you. And when somebody says that, they should be allowed to walk away. They are not in any way a threat to you. Period. What do you
True.
do after you? It says, what
Wasn't
you
there?
do after will incriminate you more. They all those like all of them getting on live and talking about the situation.
I
This is how
saw
you
that.
know that these were some low level,
Like
as my
low life
grandma would say, hoodlums.
scumbags.
Hoodlums.
Why would you
The
fight
one guy
somebody on camera? Goodness gracious. Like, I don't
and the one
understand
guy.
doing your dirt for the world to see you commit crimes. Why
How
are
do
Yeah,
you
they were
mean? It was to
thinking
go viral. This
no,
was
it was to
but
all
humiliate
just to go
her.
viral.
Yeah.
they don't it don't even click. It's a crime.
It's like their frontal
You
lobes weren't fully
are
developed, you would think,
you
because
are
like they weren't
literally
thinking straight.
showing the police, look at me commit a crime. Like,
Who
what?
do we know who
Why are you slow in the head?
leaked the video?
Viral or jail? Like, I don't know. You slow in the head. You not no.
do we do we know who leaked the video though?
I think that let me just say this much. These people are not the most cerebral people. They like I that's why I don't think that it was a setup to actually unalive her. I think it was they set her up, but I don't think it was with the intent to unalive her. Once they realized what was going on, they still didn't think that this would become a national story with outcry from everybody. And once they saw it, they said, I'm going to leak this part of the video that absolves me of any wrongdoing. Right. So
How
I
did
think
that
that they are
absolve her though?
leaking the videos in accordance with what absolves that particular person of the crime.
Yeah,
Oh,
see,
so
they're too
whoever
stupid to
they
even
go, oh no,
realize that
this
it doesn't
girl.
absolve them because you're there. You're there. You're
Well, there is
watching.
not a good Samaritan law in Mexico. So I'm saying there should be, but if you can see a crime
No, but
and
there
not be
is. I
charged.
mean, I don't know about Mexico, but we do have conspiracy laws. Conspiracy to commit could be conspiracy to commit. They could
And
charge
they
you
could be
with
trialed in Mexico
N
and
word.
in
You know,
America.
we do have that. And if you were a part of that, and it appears because you were standing there letting it happen, it appears that you were a part of it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't know. I saw that one video of I don't know which guy it was, and it was just so gross because like it was almost like he had like the way he was speaking, it was like he was so detached from it, and then he kept like mentioning it, like constantly mentioning like about his birthday, and like it was just like you know what I mean. It was like you literally do not look great in this video. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, these people are they're not clever. It's just like very
That's what
like
I'm saying.
low
I don't think any of
vibrational.
it was premeditated. I really just think it was a situation where they were probably jealous of her success, and
I think they wanted to embarrass her.
for whatever reason, they still took this trip with her. And the thought was, okay, we're gonna get her here, and whether when we go home, that'll just be that. I definitely don't think that they thought that they were going to inflict that type of damage on her. And I definitely don't think that they realized that once it happened, just saying the girl had alcohol poisoning when her body is badly beaten and bruised, like none of it makes sense.
But didn't they not even get her medical attention? Didn't they just lay her in her bed and her boyfriend came home and was like petting her head or some weird story? And like the maid ended up finding her? Like that's next.
No,
That's
I
when
think
you're
they
like
had
next level evil.
a nurse come and check on her or something.
I hope that America is able to step in, take over the case, and try all these people accordingly. The ones that
Mexico
watch.
has these laws that are called what's it called? It has to do with crimes against women.
Yeah,
Because
I did.
apparently
It said he wasn't her boyfriend. I didn't think her boyfriend was there.
it's called femicide. Femicide. Mexico has these laws, and that's what I heard, that they are looking into this as a femicide.
You want to hear something crazy?
Mhm.
When that article initially came out with the whole femicide thing, people thought femicide was a law for trans people.
Wow.
I'm not even kidding. They said, yeah, because she was the one who unalived her was trans. So yeah, that's what femicide means. I was like,
It's like, no, it's crimes against women. What's wrong with you? God.
it's as bad as the people who filmed at the funeral. I literally, I do not understand the concept of the family saying you cannot actually film where the casket is and, film the services.
And the people
So
who are
you
filming
think
it
it's
aren't.
okay to film outside, showing the hearse. It all just feels so wrong.
It's
It
just
feels wrong.
it's like, I feel like those people that are filming too, they're not doing it to help the family. They're doing it in their best interest, like for their own channels or videos or whatever. You know what I mean? So you're like interrupting a grieving moment for a family, and potentially disrespecting it for your own benefit. Like, you're trash.
I don't understand it. I mean, like I
Like, you're a
said,
whole trash.
it touched a lot of people because it could have been your daughter, it could have been your niece, it could have been your friend, she could have been anybody. And I think that's why it especially touched
Well,
the Black
donate.
community. Because a lot of times, I'll just be honest with you in this live. A lot of times when things involve us, it gets swept under the rug, or it
Yeah, I
doesn't get
understand.
televised, or there's no publicity around it. And the family really has to work very hard to get the word out so they can find out what happened to their family member. That's just me being absolutely blunt and me being absolutely honest. We don't
No,
get
I
the
agree.
same coverage, and that's across the board. For this situation, her story felt so impactful that we pushed this story out. So I could understand a content creator feeling like I need to say her name. I need to I need to show support for her. The line gets drawn when you utilize that for clicks and views.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
That's when the line should be drawn. You do not have to show any pictures of her grieving family members. You don't have to show the hearse. You just, if you felt connected to her and her family allowed the public to go send your condolences, grieve with the family, because I like the sense of community where you hurt one of us, you hurt all of us. That to me, showing so much love to her mother, sending the GoFundMe's to make sure that her mom and her dad are, they can pay for this funeral and all that. That's great. That's what we should be doing for our sister. It just don't exploit the situation. I didn't like that.
Yeah, it was pretty gross.
I didn't like that at all. Where do we go from here? Now that we know that this whole filming happened, now that we know that this fight culture exists and it could be taken to the level of unaliving somebody, how do we fix it? That's what I always want to know. How do we have an action plan to make sure that there's not another Shanquella?
I don't know. I just get like, I feel like people don't realize that when you decide to put hands on somebody, like, anything could happen. They could slip and fall and hit their head the wrong way, and then it's a wrap for them. Is it worth it? You know what I mean? And like, don't get me wrong, if you're in danger, you have every right to defend yourself. But it's just like, physically attacking someone over like pettiness is just so senseless, considering the dangers that could happen, you know?
I'm with.
And
I
that's
just.
what people don't realize.
I'm trying to think because I've been around fights before. I'm not gonna try to pretend like fights don't happen. And I've been in like where there's club fights. The first thing people do is pull out their phone. My question is, how do we get how do we get away from that? How do we get away from because it's a mindset. Now, let's go deep really quick, guys. I
I don't know.
watched
I
an
just so
interview.
far from that, I
I
can't
watched
relate.
an interview recently where they were saying that um, TikTok was developed in China and they literally push out the Jerry Springer version to the West. And
Yeah,
what
Yeah.
they do for people under the age of 14 is they make sure that they watch what's called spinach, which is educational. They only have 40 minutes on it. Um,
like science, like yeah.
it's an educational thing. And we as Americans get the full thing where we are consistently watching the fights, the this or that. How do we get away from that?
Yeah, it's like
Well, that's the
creating.
thing because China is the one who is stopping
Oh, I see.
them from having, you know, they're the ones who's regulating it. So we, as the people, in the United States or whatever, we can't regulate TikTok. The government would have to step in and say something, but people are not going to allow that because freedom, 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 all in America. So they're not going to allow any of those regulations to take place.
I think people need to be aware of what like these algorithms and so I mean, I feel like I've heard that. I always was aware of that. I never got TikTok. And then I heard worse is that if you download it, their privacy is outrageous. Like
Oh, they fully
they're
can
checking your
access all of your stuff.
keystrokes.
But
Yeah, it's
I'm
And
more
crazy.
talking
you
about
give
like
your stuff to
the
China.
mindset.
I don't have
I
TikTok.
want to know how do we fix this mindset of I know that if I record a fight video, I'm gonna go viral. I know that if I record something outlandish, even SA assaults have been recorded and put out there. You know what I'm like? I don't know that there's a fix for that. And that's when I really get disheartened with all this because I don't see a clear path to fixing it. I don't
Seems like it's
see
No,
like
like
a
a
but
clear
moral
there's a
brother
decline.
or
hope
sister.
that people are apathetic. Okay. I think that
Yeah,
it's
there's a
nice to be like, oh, we care online. But I remember I once talked about when I was like 18 in broad daylight downtown where everybody was watching, a guy literally jumped out of his car and tried to kidnap me. And I'm screaming, I don't know this guy. Somebody help me. And nobody helped. They all just watched. But these would have been the same people later on the news who would have been like, such a tragedy.
yeah.
Gimme Shelter says, I think we need to stop upholding the lowest common denominator in our racial group and making that the standard. The victimized scream street culture while the poorest of us are victimized by them.
I just think especially now more than ever, it's like in the music. It's just like it's almost like they're like grooming.
I don't know that I blame the music. I'm actually gonna do a video soon. I saw this old clip of Little Kim where they were basically blaming her for everything that was wrong with the world back when she had her old face and stuff. I'm gonna do a video
Yeah, but
on
it's
that.
50 times worse now. Like worse than when we had it. I remember those days too. They're like those rap videos, but like
Yeah, but it's
now,
higher than the artist. The artists don't control. It's
no,
higher
they
than
don't.
them. It's the
The
big wig
consumer. they're
scene.
gonna put out what
The
people are
So
record
gonna buy.
industry
it's the
is making
consumers, but
them.
it starts with the big wigs behind the scene because they're the
Yep.
ones who say that it's okay to sell unalive people music to black people, but they're not selling it to white people. They're not selling it. It's okay if we do this to black people because they'll buy it. And yes, they do buy it. I don't, but they do buy it. But it starts at the top. If they were like, hey, it's never okay to say, let's start unaliving people in songs, then the songs wouldn't even be made and then people wouldn't be consuming them.
So this was a good point. Aaron says there are legit studies that social media and smartphones have impacted the psychology of brains. Think of the young people whose whole lives have been filmed and posted. That's what I've been saying. I mean, I
Have you ever
don't
met like?
know. There's been like an upward trajectory of social media, time spent on your phone. I'm guilty of it too, to some extent. The first thing I do when I wake up is I look at my phone. The first thing I do when I wake up is I look at emails. But I think for the average person, the first thing they look on their phone is for what's going on in the world and through social media. It just, I think that me personally, if the Twitters, the Facebooks, Instagram stop pushing out the content of fights, I think that would act as a that would
Yeah,
dissuade
glorifying
people from
senseless
posting it.
violence.
Yeah, with the I like now if you see the little thing on Facebook where it says um, con- um, content or whatever, you can just click to see the content. It's almost like back in the day when they started putting the explicit language that made you want to hear what they were saying on the CD. Do you know what
Oh
I mean?
yeah.
Like explicit content, people are gonna click there. If they stop promoting it, they stop pushing it out to the masses, which would be probably a cut in whatever money they're making off of it. It would be a start because why would there be a world star hip hop if people couldn't see the fights?
But I mean, I'm an elder millennial, so I didn't get a cell phone until I was like 17 and it was a Nokia. So, have you ever met like all of my friends, I don't have kids, but all my friends' kids, the oldest ones are like 10, right? So, I'm very rarely around teenagers like nowadays, but when I am, they are like aliens to me. They are not like us at all. And their whole lives have been on the internet, but like the aggressive form, not the like the not the Al Gore internet that the AOL, the awonga wonga sound that we were all used to, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
they had the aggressive Wi-Fi since the jump, and they are a different alien breed. And it's
It makes
crazy.
sense.
I like don't relate to them. I don't even know how to.
That's funny.
And I feel
So
like it's so easy to social engineer them because their entire focus is
the
on these
AOL
platforms,
days, that was the start. That was
right?
definitely the start. I don't know. I to go back to her. I don't know what to do. I mean, I could definitely send um something to her family towards the funeral, but I don't even feel like that's enough. I'm saying the hardest moment for her mother and father is going to be once all this is over, once the media fanfare is over, and now you have a holiday like Christmas, and your one child is not there, and your child was an overachiever. You know what I mean? Like parents see a clear path for their children, and even children who are troubled, they always want the best. When you have a kid like her who did it the right way, and now that seat at the table is not going to be filled, I can't even imagine. The worst thing for a parent is for your child to go before you go.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
just
yeah.
sad. It's a lot.
But you know what? Almost as like everyone just talking about it and vocalizing how we don't condone this. This is awful. You guys are absolutely evil for this. you are not going to be lifted up whatsoever. And I think it takes, like, what's that one quote? How you allow evil to go on is good people to do nothing, to say nothing. And I think that when people speak up against it, it allows, I feel like that does something. I think that's powerful.
So you think that denouncing what happened on such a large scale can positively change a potential crime like this in the future? Like, you think that us just sitting here saying we unequivocally denounce this can help? I think that instead of Elon Musk reinstating Trump, he needs to stop fight videos.
I mean, and a lot of other evil stuff on that. Yeah, it's a lot. But I think that, yeah, I think people denouncing it, speaking up against it, saying, no, we value life, like senseless violence is not okay. You're not going to be glorified for that. I think that if people continue to say that and speak up about that, um, it will help. Because it just seems like there's like this demoralization happening.
Yeah, I feel like I'll speak on this country. I mean, I feel like this country definitely loves immoral stuff. You see it all the time. I talk about it all the time, the glorification of all things that are immoral. And don't speak about it because now suddenly you're shaming hoes and shaming, like, what? Like, stop being immoral. And if people would stand up for some values, then maybe. But the problem is, not enough people stand up. And then the people who do stand up, eventually, you just go about your day. You just keep it pushing. So there's no lasting effect of people actually standing in solidarity. It lasts for a week, maybe a month, but then what?
Right.
Jasmine
There needs to be
says the only
consistency.
thing that would help is the conversations and morals that are happening at home. So definitely, I fully agree with that.
Yeah,
If
of course.
you're taught morals at home, you're probably less likely to go out and do things like this. That's a good point. Rob says Twitter is about to implode. A new platform is on the way, and people will jump ship. I never even joined it, to be honest with you guys. I've never had Twitter. Denouncing is good, but it's principalities, different realms. That's fair. And then Kefala says justice for Shanquella. I hope justice is quick. I hope justice is severe. I hope that what they do to those people involved in this is so horrible that the next ones who think about doing something like this stop in their tracks, to be honest with you. Did you guys have any like closing thoughts?
Yeah, I just think, like I said, I think not only denouncing it, but uplifting more positive things. Um, I think that needs to be done more. I think people, I don't know, it's hard to articulate, but it just seems like there's like this trend to glorify these sort of things. And I think if people said no to that and stood up for more positive things, and like Candy said, more things that were morale forward, then I feel like it could start a change in the youth consciousness, because right now it's just everywhere for them, and I feel really scared for them, to be honest, because
You
it's,
should feel
can
scared
you
for
imagine?
yourself. Like,
Right? I
this does not feel safe. All
no.
of the unalivings. I mean, and there's multiple. And don't think that I don't hear you guys. I've had a lot of people. I'm very upfront. You can DM me. I usually try my best. I'm super busy, but I usually try my best to at least respond. There have been multiple people in my inbox who wanted me to cover this because I don't mind opening the forum for you all to come in and discuss how you're feeling about things like this. Not necessarily all of the conspiracy theories, but on a human level, how are you doing and where are you at emotionally with this? So they wanted me to cover this. And I got a lot more names in my inbox of people who have had similar situations who are now unalived, just like Shanquella. Not necessarily by the hands of their friends, but like unsolved stuff that involves young Black people. And I'm like, I'm going to do my best to look into some of these things. I can't say that I'm going to cover each one because it's a lot, but Shanquilla's situation touched me in a way because unfortunately I got to see the last moments of this young lady's life. I got to see somebody who did not want to fight, forced to fight at the hands of her friends, and that just did something to me like it did to all of you guys. Kadi, did you have anything to close out?
No, I think I said what needed to be said. I think that it sounds nice when people say that, they want uplifting content and all of that type of stuff, but we've seen it. They don't watch it. They only want drama. They only want beef. So I don't know. That's all I got to say, because we've seen proof that they don't want it. They say they do, but they don't.
No, I definitely understand where you're coming from. That if I do something salacious, it's gonna get a lot more clicks
Mm-hmm.
than my good content that does not have any like mess involved in it. But you know what? I will say this: we had like 200 people in here who were just sharing their thoughts and connected with each other in the chat on this panel on a human level. So it's not all. You know what I mean? That should give us some
Hope.
solace. It's not all.
Yeah.
Um, Mims, did you see T.S. Madison trying to make the situation about the trans community and herself? You know, I did see some. Strangely enough, I saw her response video on the neighborhood talk, and I think what she was trying to say was she thought that one of the women was trans because there was a picture of the woman who allegedly was fighting her in the video, and they had her with like a buzz cut, and
I saw
T.S.
that, yeah.
Madison saw that and reacted to that image and then came back. I don't know if that video from the Shade Room was today or yesterday, but came back and said, gave the full story. So I don't know. It's important to try to get as much information as possible before you say things because at her level, it's almost like releasing a statement. And now what happens is people will hang on your every word. And if you misspeak, if your facts aren't straight, they will come for you. And I think that's what happened to her. But I like the fact that she came out and said she didn't know. She just saw that picture and thought that the person was trans. But now they're saying that that picture was photoshopped. So
I also heard like a video prior. I don't know who did it, but it was like prior to it even happening. So it was like the pre video. And you can hear her like excited to hang out with her friends. I guess they were all gonna go swimming and they're changing because she's like, "You guys better have your clothes off," and blah blah blah. And she's
no,
like,
she said
sounds
you hoes.
excited. Yeah,
And
but
I
you
know
know,
that because I know
but
friends
she
who
was.
call each other hoes
Yeah,
and the people are
exactly. It
like,
wasn't
it's a
like
term of
enemies.
endearment.
Yeah, exactly. And you can tell she did not see this coming.
Child, don't call me a hoe.
Um, Give me shelter says I'm trying to figure out why this case impacted all of us. I think it's because she could easily be your mother, daughter, sister, cousin, aunt, your friend.
Because we'd all have experience with, on some level, some more than others, but on some level, we've all been around a friend type person that we've realized, wow, this person doesn't have my best interests at heart.
I think again, people want you to do well. They just don't want you to do better than them. I think that that's probably more the rule as opposed to the exception, unfortunately. Guys, I'm gonna come back tomorrow for Potomac. It'll be on a definitely a more light, funny note. I found a picture of Juan and Robin engaged in some stuff, so I'll be posting. I'll be putting that on my live tomorrow. I'm going to be going in on all of them. I want to thank Kadi and thank Natasha for coming up. I wanted to be able to talk to other people to see exactly how you all were feeling, because this is a heavy night. But she has been laid to rest, and the next step is prosecution for everybody involved. Thank you, everybody in the chat. I saw you guys were all very nice to each other. I saw you guys, it was like a real sense of community in the chat. I'm always going to come live. I'm always going to let you guys share your thoughts, your opinions. Um, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh, I'm not going to talk about that. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and hopefully you all have a good night and get all your food ready for Thanksgiving.
Right? I'm
And you
feeling
guys
stressed.
spend time with your families and tell people you love them in the moment.
Love
Let
you,
people,
Mims.
Thanks for having us. Bye.
let people know how you feel in the moment. And I will see you all next time. Good night, everybody.
Bye.